Good evening and welcome to the August 6th, 2025 meeting of the Gaithersburg Planning Commission. First up on our agenda this evening is the approval of the minutes from July 16th, 2025. Is there a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the minutes of July 16th, 2025 as written in the record.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Next up on our agenda is the consent items, AFP 10129-2025, an 894 square foot building addition and facade modifications at 15750 Shady Grove Road in the MXD. Any comments or questions on the consent item this evening?
Nope.
Hearing none, is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the consent item as written in the record.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 4-0. Next up, recommendations to the mayor and council. We have two items under this section of our agenda this evening. First up is AB 10054-2025. It's abandonment of right-of-way on O'Neill Drive and Nancy Place. Presenting tonight from staff is Laura Mafood.
Good evening. This is a recommendation to the Mayor and City Council for abandonment application AB 10054-2025. Chapter 19, Article 3 of the City Code outlines the procedures for abandoning public rights-of-way. The council may abandon the right-of-way if it finds from the evidence in the record that the right-of-way is no longer necessary for present or anticipated future public use. Following introduction by the Mayor and City Council, the Planning Commission is required to make a recommendation on the abandonment to the council prior to the public hearing. This application was introduced to the Mayor and City Council on July 7th. The opposed abandonment area is marked with the red hatching here on your screen, and this is down by the Casey Community Center. This is 355 up here. And the abandonment area is about 37,400 square feet. It includes portions of O'Neill Drive that were never constructed and a small section of Nancy Place. This abandonment application is related to the Casey Rosedale zoning map amendment and SDP application, which is application Z10030-2025. And that application proposes to realign O'Neill Drive and Nancy Place to facilitate the phased redevelopment of these existing Rosedale apartments. Since this request is directly related to the Casey Rosedale zoning map amendment, the public hearing for this abandonment will be scheduled concurrently with that zoning map amendment at a future date, so you will see both applications together at the joint public hearing. As discussed in the staff report, the proposed abandonment and subsequent new dedication that will come with the zoning map amendment and SDP will accommodate the minimum right-of-way necessary for a neighborhood residential street typology in compliance with the city's street design standards. So right now, the right-of-way for O'Neill Drive is 80 feet wide, and it will go down to 70 feet. The abandonment and future realignment affords the applicant the ability to provide ample open and amenity space for future residents. It'll be over an acre of amenity space, and it'll be in a more efficient layout, and you'll be able to see that during the joint public hearing for the SDP. Then I also just wanted to point out that the applicant is proposing temporary access easements for some of the existing sections of O'Neill Drive and Nancy Place that will be abandoned, but will still be needed to access the current apartments that are out there now. So safe access will be maintained for the current residents until the new road is constructed. In conclusion, staff recommends that the Planning Commission support abandonment application AB 10054-2025 and recommends that the council proceed with a public hearing in conjunction with application Z10030-2025. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. And just for a point of order and clarity in case anyone is watching at home or here in the audience, this item and our next item are recommendations to the mayor and council, so there is not public comment held as part of our discussion here tonight. Laura, you indicated there will be a joint public hearing on this topic with mayor and council, correct?
Yes.
All right, so if anyone has concerns about this item in particular, the joint public hearing is the time to provide public comments. Any questions?
No.
All seems pretty straightforward.
Housekeeping. Yep.
Housekeeping. All right. If there are no questions, or Did you, I believe you did provide the staff recommendation as
Yes.
part of your
Yes.
presentation. So in that case, is there a motion?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I move that the Planning Commission, based upon the findings presented in the staff analysis and the evidence in the record, support abandonment application AB-10054-2025 and recommend the council proceed with a public hearing in conjunction with Z-10030-2025.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Motion passes 4-0. Next up on our mayor and council recommendations is Z10120-2025, a zoning map amendment requesting to rezone 16383 and 16411 Shady Grove Road from MXD to C2. Presenting tonight from staff is Emily Fishman. Thank you.
Thanks. All right. Good evening, commissioners. This is the Planning Commission recommendation on zoning map amendment Z101202025. A joint public hearing for this was held on July 7th, 2025. The Planning Commission held its record open until 5 p.m. on July 28th, 2025. At the time of the Commission's record closing, there were 0 comments in the record. As discussed during the public hearing, this application proposes to rezone 2 parcels, 16383 and 16411 Shady Grove Road, which are highlighted here on the screen, from MXD mixed-use development to C2 general commercial. As noted in the staff report, this is a standard method zoning map amendment for which the requirements are outlined in section 24-12.3 and do not include any type of site development plan. This application is also reflective of the amended annexation agreement approved on May 20th, 2025. The amended annexation agreement recognizes that circumstances have changed since the original annexation in 2012. As a result, it determines that rezoning the property to C2 is most suitable. Additionally, the sketch plan will now serve as a C2 concept plan, and all existing approvals, including the SDP and final site plan, will remain vested under the C2 zone with an approved rezoning. The purpose of this rezoning application includes reflecting the newly adopted zoning ordinance, which no longer allows an automobile sales establishment in the MXD zone. As a result, the primary structure at 16411 Shady Grove Road is currently non-conforming. The proposed rezoning would also align with the use restriction on the county's transfer station, which prohibits residential development on the property. At the time of the original annexation, the long-term vision included replacing the transfer station with mixed-use development. However, with the updated 2021 Shady Grove Sector Plan, Montgomery County has indicated that both mixed-use development and the relocation of the transfer station is no longer envisioned. As this is a rezoning to a non-floating zone, Section 4-204 of the Maryland Land Use Article outlines the findings required for approval and are further detailed in the staff report. These include population change, the availability of public facilities, present and future transportation patterns, compatibility with existing and proposed development for the area, the recommendation of the Planning Commission, and the relationship of the proposed amendment to the local jurisdiction's plan. In addition, approval requires a determination that there has been either a substantial change in the character of the neighborhood where the property is located or a mistake in the existing zoning classification. In this case, a finding of substantial change in the character of the neighborhood is supported by the fact that the surrounding area has not redeveloped as anticipated in 2012 and continues to exhibit a predominantly commercial and industrial character. As seen on the screen, developments such as the Montgomery County's Division of Fleet Services, the Maryland Transportation Authority facility, and the existing post office all contribute to the area's continued dominance of commercial and moderate industrial uses. So in conclusion, staff is recommending that the Planning Commission recommend approval of zoning map amendment Z101202025 to the Mayor and City Council based upon the findings of Section 24-12.3 of the City's Code and Section 4-204 of the Maryland Land Use Article. Staff further recommends that the Planning Commission determine that events since the adoption of the 2009 Master Plan make the zoning recommendation for the subject site in that plan no longer relevant, in accordance with Section 24-12.3 F2 of the City Code. So I'm here to answer any questions. The applicant, Aaron Gerard, is here as well to answer any questions.
All All right, thank you very much. I would just like to note for the record that I was not here at the joint public hearing, but I watched the testimony and presentations on video, and I'm prepared for this evening.
Mr. Chair, the same for me. I did watch it, though, with dismay.
Questions from the commission?
Question about.
No?
Any discussion?
Well, again, it's compatible. It's industrial area. Unfortunately, the plans that were projected at one time have not been followed through. We've got a county, we've got state, and we've got local. And I think this only is quite consistent with what we have there, so I'm in favor of it.
I concur.
Yeah, the county's decision to not move the transfer station is long fought for, and we lost. So, so this is a recognition of the current reality. And my hope is that not me, but somebody else is sitting up here in 10, 20 years and rezoning it back to MXT. although C2, thanks to master planner Rob over there, is actually a pretty good zone. So,
All right, we've heard the recommendation.
Do you want two recommendations, separate
Yes.
recommendations?
Two
motions.
We'll
Two
vote
separate
two motions in
ones.
there.
All right, is there a first motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the planning commission, based upon the findings presented herein, the applicant's testimony, and the evidence in the record, recommend approval of zoning map amendment Z 10120-2025 to the mayor and city council with no conditions, finding in conformance with section 24-12.3 and sections 4-204 of the Maryland Land Use Article.
Second?
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Is there a second motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the planning commission, based upon the findings presented herein, the applicant's testimony, and the evidence of the record, determine that events since the adoption of 2009 master plan make the zoning recommendation for the subject site and that plan no longer relevant in accordance with section 24-12.3 F2 of the city code.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Thank you very much.
I'm not sure if we've ever had no longer relevant in a motion.
I'm sorry?
I'm not sure we ever had no longer relevant in a motion.
All right.
it won't be the
That
last
brings
time.
us to our public hearing portion of the agenda this evening. And the one item on our agenda is ASDP 9990-2024. Two building additions of just under 8,000 square feet and site work at 200 Orchard Ridge Drive in the MXD zone. Presenting tonight from staff is Carolyn Seiden. Good evening.
Good evening. This is a public hearing on amendment to schematic development plan ASDP 990-2024. The subject property is located at 200 Orchard Ridge Drive, which is part of Lot 9. The Ridges portion of the AstraZeneca campus should be shown on the aerial there. The lot is bounded by Quince Orchard Drive to the north, Great Seneca Highway to the west, and Orchard Ridge Drive to the east. And the property is in the MXD, Mixed Use Development Zone. The campus part of the Ridges part of the campus is currently developed with approximately 818,000 square feet of office and medical research and development space across multiple buildings, approximately 103,000 square feet of which is located at the 200 Orchard Ridge building. This application is an amendment to SDP 7059-2015, which was approved in October 2015 by Resolution R-82-15. The original SDP consolidated those two properties, 1 Metamune Way and 200 Orchard Ridge, into one property, and also approved a 1,400 space structured parking facility, which is known as Garage C. The current application proposes to construct 3 building additions at 200 Orchard Ridge, totaling 7,988 square feet, with associated site work, including the relocation of a loading area and modifications to the adjacent surface parking lot. The public hearing was posted on the city's website since July 22nd, 2025. The property was also properly posted with public hearing signs, and notices were sent to surrounding property owners and occupants. At the present time, there are 19 exhibits in the record files. They are referenced in an exhibit list in the files. The individual exhibits may be reviewed during the course of the meeting or in the Planning and Code Administration offices during regular business hours at City Hall or on the city's website. Any objections to the receipt of any exhibit should be noted prior to the closing of the record. Otherwise, they will be deemed received in evidence. And here to present is Hannah Williams from AstraZeneca. So I will turn the presentation over to her.
Thank you, Caroline. Good evening. So we will be giving a brief presentation on our 200 Orchard Ridge Drive renovation. Sitting beside me, I have Dana Verbosch, who is our design director for the project. I'm also supported by Stuart Barr, who is our legal counsel from Lurk, Erkley & Brewer. I also have MHD, our engineer, here to support, to help answer any questions at the end of our presentation. So I'll give a brief overview of AstraZeneca, and then I will roll into a brief overview of our campus as well as the project. So AstraZeneca is a multinational company who currently employs over 90,000 employees. We are a biotech and pharmaceutical company supporting patients around the world. Our mission is pushing the boundaries of science and delivering life-changing medicines that transform the lives of patients worldwide. We are currently pursuing our Ambition 2030, which includes the $50 billion investment in stateside manufacturing, as well as increasing our R&D square footage in North America. So AstraZeneca, as you probably all know, is we have a large campus here in Gaithersburg. We have the largest R&D campus in North America, so we are known as the R&D headquarters. We have 7 buildings on campus. It's mixed use, so it's mainly R&D and office space. We also have a daycare and a small manufacturing facility. And as Caroline mentioned, it is around 818,000 square feet total. And today we are specifically talking about a project at 200 Orchard Ridge Drive, which is in the bottom right corner of the map here. So our 200 Orchard Ridge Drive renovation was actually a request from the occupants that currently reside in the building. The group that lives in this building is actually a commercial team. We are not changing the purpose of the building. It will remain commercial office space. The team was looking for a revitalization of the building that supports their business needs and supports their dynamic collaborative environment. So we are adding some square footage to add some amenities to the building. We are not adding space to increase the head count. The head count's roughly remaining the same, but we wanted to make sure that we were supporting their business needs. And I'll pass things over to Dana.
Thank you, Hannah. Good evening. Really excited to be here and to share with you some of the challenges that we've seen with the building and the site a little bit, and how we are proposing to manage some of those challenges. So first, we'll start with some of the existing site challenges that we all sort of realized together as we began the project. There are some vehicular pathways that are not necessarily needed, one being the circular drop-off at the formal front face of the building. That formal entry is no longer really used as a formal entry by employees and visitors. So we see that as, sort of a not well-used portion of the building that could be better utilized for the business unit inside. We feel it's disconnected from the adjacent buildings. We want to help create some space for the campus to feel a little bit more connected from building to building. The circulation is very vehicular focused, it's not very pedestrian focused, and we know that employees do traverse from one building to another, so we wanted to create better safer pedestrian circulation. Very minimal programmable outdoor space. It's pretty sparse right now. The loading dock is also highly visible on your formal approach to the building from a vehicular standpoint. Not the best kind of front door experience for the building to approach at the loading dock. And we know the site has seen some stormwater management issues that we knew we could help manage through this project. As for the building itself, I mentioned the formal entrance, not really well utilized. It creates some wayfinding issues, as architecturally it appears like a formal entrance, but doesn't act that way on the inside of the building. You kind of have to walk all the way around. The building systems themselves are outdated, so we're looking to update all the building systems. There's water infiltration issues. We have energy inefficient glazing. So we are looking to upgrade the building to today's energy efficient codes and help remediate any of the water issues that currently plague the building. And as Hannah mentioned, we are looking to support some enhanced amenities for the occupants of this building and ultimately for the campus. We see this as an asset to the campus as a whole, not just the occupants at 200. We also see that there's a little bit of like underutilized roof terrace space that really could support some wellness opportunities for the occupants inside to experience a little bit of daylight and fresh air while they are working. So we'd like to share with you some of our day one site improvements. We're calling them day one because we are also looking to the future for the site as a whole, but right now we're focused on the scope in front of us. So we are, of course, through our landscaping and some of the moves we're making, trying to manage those stormwater deficits on the site. We are creating an elevated entry experience, as I mentioned, to really make it very simple and easy for people to know where to go when they are entering the building. As Hannah mentioned, we are relocating the loading dock as well. So we're kind of moving that to what we feel is more of the backside of the building, a little more functional and accessible in that space. We are looking to enhance the biodiversity of the site, which is a strong aspect of AstraZeneca's goals as well across the site by introducing more native plants. And we are designing this day one approach to think about that future expansion and future connection across the campus. You'll notice in this diagram, we've also circled where those building addition locations are as we look at the site, and we can share a little bit more about those locations at Building 200. So we are looking to create that increase in the building to allow for those enhanced amenities. Like Hannah mentioned, we're not really looking to increase the head count, but really to support what today's workforce really needs. We are creating that clear main entrance, again, as a wayfinding, but also from a convenience standpoint to really face where everybody is parking, both on the flat lot and Garage C. We are building a smaller secondary entrance that is accessible to some adjacent parking garages, but also faces the larger building, the central building, known as JBB, the One Meadowmead Way building on campus, so that pedestrian experience between the two buildings is a little easier for folks. I mentioned enhancing those creating those occupiable outdoor terrace spaces, so doing a little improvement to those existing terraces. And with that second, we call it the Campus Connector Addition, building a little bit of an expanded terrace on the roof of that addition. And within that main entrance, we are also creating a communicating stair. We want to make the right moves to enhance the health and wellness of the occupants in the building, promote physical circulation. A little bit on the design of the expansions. We want to respect the existing datum lines. So what we're doing is creating a little bit of an airy addition that still ties into the pretty strong rhythmic lines across the existing facade today, but increasing some of the glazing to bring in more daylight to the building. Currently, the ribbon windows don't allow for a ton of daylight to get into the core of the building. Putting that communicating stair within that daylit space is going to go a long way into encouraging people to make healthier choices and get a little natural daylight into that space. We are thoughtfully introducing new materials, so not adding a ton of new finishes, but trying to work with the existing precast that's there, and introducing some metal panel, both within the additions as well as in the existing facade where we are replacing glazing. So we're increasing glazing in some areas, reducing glazing in other areas to make sure we're complying with the energy code. And as I mentioned, we are planning for the future. So I showed you the day one scope, that's pretty truncated, but we did that with the mindset of future expansion across the site for AstraZeneca, increasing that biodiversity, reclaiming that vehicular drop-off that no one really uses today for more outdoor space for the campus and the occupants. And that's it. We're really excited to share that with you and here and available for any questions.
All right, thank you very much. Are there any questions from the commission?
Just quickly on the landscape. So, eliminated, it's a great plan. So you eliminated most of the lawn in favor of some alternative ground covers and and finishes, we'll say for lack of a better term. But you still have a good bit of lawn up against the building as it wraps around the, the east side? And then I'm just curious, why do you want to keep some lawn there? What's the real purpose?
Can I go back? You're speaking of this side of the building
And it wraps
here?
around the corner, yeah.
Yeah. So our intent, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit in the future, because our day one scope is to support this future connection. But that pedestrian connection from both this new main entrance at 200 and that little campus connector that I mentioned, all are sort of in favor of making the pedestrian experience safer and a little bit more enjoyable from one building to the next. So I think enhancing that green space where we've removed the loading dock space is going to go far in doing that. It also allows us a little bit more space to bring in native plants, et cetera. So we've kind of flipped some green space from this side to this side as we flipped the loading dock to the other side of the building.
Yeah, I think I get that. I'm just questioning why a maintenance-heavy lawn, actual grass lawn, is appropriate there rather than some of the, I think, very inventive ground covers you have on the rest of your design. We're, as a city, we're really trying to limit,
That amount of-
yeah,
Sure.
feeding and maintaining all that kind of horrible stuff.
Yeah, and I'm sure our landscape architect would have more to say about the exact species, but I will say for some of the lawn that we're proposing in this back zone, it really is about encouraging the usage of the outdoor space as programmable space, and lawn goes a long way in allowing some flexibility out there. Yeah.
Yeah, I certainly get that in the old drive-through.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
makes sense. I'm not sure where I get it up against the building, but I'll leave that for staff to wonder about. Sorry, that was my only real question.
All right. Any other questions? This is the time where this is our one public hearing agenda item. For the record, looking at who may or may not be joining us online tonight, the only folks dialed in online are city staff.
Okay.
Is there anyone here in the audience tonight who would like to speak on this topic? Doesn't look like it.
We have our team, they can say something they want, yeah.
It's one way to stack the panel.
Yeah, right.
All right. So discussion. Any thoughts, concerns from the commission?
Yeah, I'm not concerned, but AstraZeneca has been a wonderful neighbor and a wonderful business in our community. And I think improving the compatibility, improving the infrastructure and the structure itself is a great addition to both your campus as well as to the city. So totally encourage it completely.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was just thinking that it's a wonderful addition. It's a great benefit to the world. So that's a good thing. It's all good.
No big deal.
It's all good.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just add that we have this sort of generational task of improving our suburban office parks and making them a little less car forward and a little more pedestrian friendly. It's a difficult task, especially in these big I-3, donut properties. But this is a nice little study in how to sort of take a light touch and make something that's a little greener, a little more livable, and a little more pedestrian friendly. So thank you.
And also, my son would say, this looks really nice. It doesn't look like something like way back in the day in the 80s.
Well, I love that, thank you.
I do have a question. Anybody who wants to, from the orchards or from Kentlands or Lakelands, if they want to walk through the campus, they can walk through the campus. Is that correct?
Not within we do have like a security fence within the bounds directly around. You can certainly walk around that fence, but getting sort of into that deeper landscaping is really meant for AstraZeneca employees.
That's a very good question because sometimes there's kind of issues with people who live close to industrial or commercial, and because I live next door to an industrial, and one of the security guards came up and said, "You can't walk around here." I said, "I was here before you were."
Yeah.
But, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Security issues around campus, and we're not trying to add too much to how we're closing it off. The fence that's there today, we're basically extending just to,
That's it,
just to capture the
cover
scope.
The
Yeah.
rest of the scope.
And how you define the construction site, how's that going to be defined in terms of fencing or in terms of safety?
We actually already have temporary fencing in place.
Okay.
And we have one entryway for all of the construction workers and anything that needs to come in and out, but it is barricaded during the day and monitored by the construction team. So the construction team has full ownership of the site right now.
And there's temporary signage there?
I'm sorry?
Is there temporary signage there around
Yes.
the construction
yes,
area?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
One last question too, Mr. Chair. I may have missed it, and I know we missed it in the application, and you mentioned that this is kind of phase one that you were presenting to us, but really we're approving the entire package, obviously, tonight, including both sides of the building. Clarify what you mean by first phase, and what's the timing for all this?
Let me go back to
Yeah.
the plan.
Visual. There we go.
Phase one includes what you see circled in this blue dash line around the plan, as well as the additions to the building themselves. So what we're calling phase two, which is sort of TBD in terms of timeline, is the remainder of the site that's shown. Ooh, wrong way.
TBD, huh?
The rest of this, yeah.
Not a big fan of TBD. It's not a,
I just wanted to clarify from staff.
please.
The reason that the second phase is not part of this is because it wasn't required to be part of a schematic development plan amendment. The reason it's before you and going to council is because of the building additions. So they had originally come in with a much larger plan, but it was taking longer to go through our review process. So we kind of pared it down to what was essential to get approved as part of the schematic development plan. The rest of it can then come later or concurrent with a final site plan, or some of it may be able to be reviewed at a staff level, but it didn't require an amendment to schematic development plan to be approved by the mayor and council. So that's why you're seeing it just phase one.
Thank you. Chewing the elephant one leg at a time.
Sure, yeah, so my concern is we're chopping down a 32-inch tree, we're rearranging loading docks, we're changing the configuration of the property from the original plan. I think it is an improvement, but part of that is the sort of overall good of what is considerably better from a rainwater standpoint and pedestrian environment standpoint. When you say that's the pitch, so, but we're not going to give you 2/3 of that product as part of the pitch, right?
For now.
For now.
Yeah.
So maybe staff can clarify what we think that TBD is.
Well, they'll have to submit new additional plans for what that additional landscaping is, but we don't have a plan.
To be, maybe I think I understand this. I want to make sure I'm clear. We're talking about a schematic development plan, which we're revising tonight because of the building footprint
Correct.
additions. To do all of the other site plans would be a final site plan revision,
Right, and-
which would either be, depending on
Maybe.
how extensive,
Well, maybe.
handled at the staff level, or come back to the commission.
Correct, right. I mean,
I agree with
I
you.
think at the minimum, the building additions, you will certainly see a amendment to final plan stage of this. This is just the schematic plan. So you will see the building addition again.
But I kind of get what he's saying. Is there could there be this is an overall plan, just a brief presentation about that, and then, but we're only going to be doing this part now. And I think you did that, but I guess maybe you're looking for a little more.
Well, I think you answered. So we expect to see the entire plan back and for final site plan.
It's up to them to what they submit.
I mean, it's ultimately up to AstraZeneca.
My
when they-
expectation would be that we see that entire plan back on final site plan, that we see the entire improvement as a package, right? You're asking for some compromises. I think they're excellent compromises, but you're pitching the whole package and only allowing us to approve a portion of it, right? So it's a bit incongruous.
Maybe I can clear up the language that I used. The scope, and I'm speaking for AstraZeneca, so they can correct me if I'm wrong.
Sure.
But the scope that we're talking about today, as shown on screen, the the building expansions, as well as this like little blue area that supports those building expansions is the priority for the business right now.
Makes sense.
But there is an intent in the future to see the rest of the site redeveloped. Expansions will be done, this portion will be redone, and then there's the next step of,
Recapturing of that pavement
yes,
and that entire, again, I lost north, southeast, I think it's the north side of the building.
north is like this way, yeah.
So is truly TBD. 40 years, never.
I don't think it's never, but I don't, it's a
I don't think
business
it's never
decision,
answers my
yeah.
question.
don't
Yeah.
see it happening
So
within
really,
the
so
next
we
year
have
or
to, we
two.
have to consider this as only that sort of southern piece.
Yes.
And it has none of the other improvements as presented tonight in the
Yes.
package. So. To be
Yeah.
clear.
Correct.
I mean, I'll just speak personally that clarification I think is really important and took us a little while to get our heads around here, which, perhaps should have been a little bit clearer. I don't think that necessarily changed whether or not the improvements to the building, from my perspective, are good, bad, or otherwise. I do think, clearly from a planning standpoint, the overall plan, the intent described here tonight is what we would all like to see. Devil's in the details, obviously, at a future plan submission. But I think it would be good when we start talking about final site plans for the city and the commission to have a little more clarity on timelines and what is actually going to be done now, 5 years, 10 years, never.
Okay.
And that's kind of, I think I was trying to get at that too. It's just a high level overall, and then, all right, this is what we're doing now. Yeah.
If I could jump in real quick, I think it's appropriate if you'd like to say at the final site plan to see a phasing plan, essentially, of what you're looking for and some timelines tied around that phasing plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do we want to make that a condition?
No, it could be direction to staff.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Direction to staff's fine with me, unless you want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Staff okay with that?
You want to make, well, this is the schematic development plan, so what you're asking for is something to be done at the final
Final.
site
Right,
plan.
which is why it would just be some direction to staff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
And
direction.
not a condition.
I think
Yeah.
direction's fine, especially because the applicant is here tonight, is hearing the same thing staff's hearing. And we can definitely handle this, I think, more as a final site plan detail
Yeah.
and move the SDP forward, hopefully.
Yeah, great.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
All right.
Good.
Anything else?
No, that's great.
All right. Is there a motion?
We got two motions here, right?
Yeah, if I can just clarify a little
sorry,
further
staff
about
Please.
the staff recommendation. We are recommending that you close the record and make a recommendation all this evening, make a recommendation to the mayor and council. So I'll just read the staff recommendation. Staff is supportive of the submitted amendment to schematic development plan, ASDP 9990-2024. The plan meets and accomplishes the purposes, objectives, and minimal standards and requirements of the MXD zone, and the plan furthers the visions and goals of the city master plan by providing support for employment. Development will not adversely affect the character of the surrounding neighborhood, and the proposed preliminary architecture ensures that the project will be of a superior quality and compatible with the surrounding area. And then there are two recommendations, one that you close the record and one that the Planning Commission, based on the evidence and testimony submitted to the record and the findings in the final staff analysis, recommend approval of ASDP 9990-2024 to the mayor and city council with the one condition that's included in the staff report. And the condition relates to really very minor line work on one of the plans that just needs to be amended.
Okay.
All right. In that case, is there a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I move that the Planning Commission close the record for application ASDP-9990-2024 and proceed with our recommendation.
Second?
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 4-0. Is there a second motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I move that the Planning Commission, based on the evidence and testimony submitted to the record and the findings and the staff analysis, recommend approval of ASDP-9990-2024 and tree variance to the mayor and city council with the one condition read into the record.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries 4-0. Thank you very
Great.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
That takes us to from the commission. Lloyd, anything this evening?
Yeah, I've talked with several neighbors and friends in the area around Seneca Creek Park. I know it's a state park, but people that want to go to the park that don't want to drive into the park have to go up Clopper Road to get into the main entrance. And Clopper Road is not a very pedestrian-friendly or bike-friendly road. The
Barely a
request
car-
that's
it's
being
almost
made.
not a car-friendly
Sorry?
road. It's almost not a car-friendly road.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The request that I'd like to make of the staff is to inquire of the state if there's a possibility of perhaps making some pedestrian-friendly entrances, one off of Great Seneca and the other one off of Long Draft, to allow for a bicycle or an individual to go into the park, because there's no toll being asked of anybody coming into the park on foot or on a bike, only in a car. So why can't we get more access to the park for those kind of activities, hiking and biking? So my request would be to try
I
to.
actually live right behind the park, and
Yep.
there are ways in, but it is.
I have
mean,
found
it's
them.
like hiking.
I have found some of them, and they're
it's
not friendly.
It's not pedestrian friendly.
Right. So
It
if the
takes a
state
little bit to get in there.
could do something, I think we can really increase the use of the park, particularly for Gaithersburg citizens. So just a request. I know it's a
Yeah, we
state.
can, staff can talk with Public Works to look into that.
That'd be great. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah,
It's a great idea.
it is a good idea.
Yeah, great. Danny, anything this evening?
Nothing tonight. Just happy to be here with people and see all you good folks.
Likewise.
Nothing from me.
Socially, socially gathering.
All right, from staff, Jasmine?
Yep, so the next Planning Commission meeting is on September 3rd, and on September 8th will be a joint work session about the Visioning Data Analysis Report, and I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their summer.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Great.
Carolyn, anything from you
Nothing
this
from
evening?
me.
Nice to see you, Carolyn.
Just to add a little bit more about the September 8th joint work session, I did send an email out today to
Oh,
the
yeah.
commission with the report for your
Yep.
review ahead of that meeting. It's a long report.
Yep.
So I wanted to give everyone as much time as possible to read through it. Obviously, staff is available ahead of that meeting too. If you have any questions, just feel free to reach out to us on that.
Yeah, it's
We
great.
are working though also on a more condensed down kind of Cliff Notes version of the report. It's a little more user friendly. Unfortunately, it's not completed yet or ready to be released to the public, but we will have it done before the packets due for the Mayor and City Council and the Planning Commission's joint work session.
Great.
So that will be available for everyone's review as well as the public's.
Good.
Thank you.
Frank, anything from you this evening?
No, nothing for me tonight. I know Rob wants to keep it quiet, but with Rob Robinson retiring, I know that at the
Quiet.
end of
He's been talking about it
September-
for like a year.
What's that?
He hasn't kept it at all quiet.
Certainly appreciate the years of service that he's had. He's been here longer than I have, and have awfully learned an awful lot going back and forth with his very honest dialogue, and has certainly served the city with a lot of planning over the decades.
And he's given us some nice colorful pants that he wears. I guess he goes golfing in or something. So that's a good thing. You're gonna miss that.
Greg has big shoes to fill
Yeah.
with his wardrobe.
You gotta zhuzh up the wardrobe.
I'll do what I can.
It is quite a loss, though, in the big picture thinking.
Yeah,
So I know.
he's been really great.
That's
Publicly
exactly
thank
right.
him, yes.
Yes, let's be on the record. He's been great. I wish him the best.
All right. Well, with that, we are adjourned. Good evening, everybody.